Hello everyone, you're welcome to my channel, and today in this very tutorial section I will be having a discussion on DOM, which stands for Document Object Model, and how you can interact with your DOM, how you can do some DOM manipulation, and I will try to explain some more concepts. And I believe if you're new into web design or working with HTML, CSS, this will be very useful and important for you to follow along with me. I will be discussing some of the way you can manipulate your DOM, how you can perform some actions, how you can do some interaction with your DOM from using JavaScript or directly using the HTML itself. So all right, without wasting much of the time, I have on my screen my IDE, which is VS Code, and then my browser open. So you can follow along with any IDE of your choice. You can use Atom, you can use Bracket, or you can even use Notepad++, but I love using VS Code because VS Code have some kind of inbuilt intelligence, which I will show you pretty soon. If you're working with it, it makes you work faster, it improves your speed, and also gives you some kind of suggestion while you write your code along. So I will advise you to try it out and see some of the cool features VS Code offers you. All right, so now, just like I said from the very introduction, DOM manipulation, DOM actually stands for Document Object Model. So DOM is a programming interface for web development. Now DOM represents the page, so that you can make change to the document structure where you have your content in it. So that is what DOM is. So in essence, DOM is just like a tree data structure that represents your HTML or your XML document. Okay, and it has some kind of attributes, which are some piece of text on the document, and then they all have a name. And then DOM also allows the developer to access and manipulate your content, the structure of your web page using scripting languages like JavaScript. So that's you can manipulate and access your DOM and do some of the interaction with it using JavaScript. And also developer can use DOM to make changes. If you don't want to have a static page, then you can, through DOM, you can make some adjustments. You can manipulate your page, what you have, what you want to have, what you want to happen after some event, and all of that. So one of the benefits of you using the DOM is for you to access and modify your HTML element. You can use JavaScript to select some parts. You can change the attribute after some kind of action. You can put some kind of style. Maybe once the user come on your website, you want to have a background color of slate maybe, and then after they click on the button, you want to change the background to pink, or you want to change it to any color you want, or you want to pop up an image. All right, so through DOM manipulation, you can access your HTML element, and then you can perform some of this dynamic operation. And also it responds to your user interface. You can create some interactive web application by using DOM, and by manipulating the DOM you can make some updates. You can refresh your content, and you can dynamically update the content of your web page. All right, in fact, even the entire web page that can be updated using the DOM. And then you can also create and delete. Okay, take for instance, if a user have a kind of to-do or some kind of thing on the page, and they want to remove it or they want to delete it after completing the task or the to-do, then you can do that. All right, you can just get that section of the element on the page or the DOM, and that can be deleted as well. So in overall, DOM manipulation is just a fundamental concept in web development. All right, and it plays a very crucial role in creating dynamic and interactive web pages and web application. All right, so that is one of the beauty of DOM. That is one of the very cool feature DOM brings to the table, and also allow developers to change content and and the behavior of a web page in response to some actions or some kind of events from the user. So DOM manipulation, if you want to be a good web developer, something which I believe you should know how to handle, how to manipulate, how it operates, how it works, and how you can do so many things with it. All right. Without wasting most of the time, I just will create a HTML page right now, and I'll show you how you can do some of the manipulation on the DOM. So if you're on VS Code, just click on the file, the double file icon by the top left corner of your IDE. I'm currently in an empty folder. I have nothing in it. You can click on this button right here, the add file. If you hover on it, you see this kind of suggestion popping up telling you what the file is, the title I mean. So once you click on that, add file, and beside that we have a folder, add folder. And if you want to have your content in the folder, then you can create a folder and then move your file in. But I want to have everything in here on the root file. So I'll just click on the add file, and let me zoom out a bit so you can see what I'm doing clearly. Then I want to give the file name index. You can give it any name of your choice, right? But the most important thing is the extension, which is coming after the period. So that should be html.html. All right. So the file before the name, the text before the full stop or the period can be anything, but this right here, this highlighted HTML, needs to have this extension of HTML. All right. You cannot give it can give it any other name. You can give it you can call it index.index or anything. It has to be index.html. all right, so that will let your browser know that this is a document file for the browser, so the browser can work with it and also read it. If you give this any name, maybe if you give it .txt just for your regular text file, then if you're using VS Code, you can see this kind of this kind of file icon here by the right. Okay, so this is a text file, this is not a browser document, so you need to be very careful of that. If you want to create a page or a website, your file needs to have the HTML extension. Okay, you cannot use .doc. All right, doc, that's doc. If you can see the icon, this is kind of a document icon. All right, so like if this is where this kind of file can be viewed from your Google Doc or any document reader. All right, that is where this will run on. This cannot be likened to be a website. Okay, so always remember to make it .html extension. Okay, so right now I have the HTML file created. I want to put in just some empty page, some empty file, some HTML document. Okay, so the browser can read that, and we can also see it. You can see our document, all of the changes, and every HTML file needs to have this doc type, and then from there we can have the HTML language, and then within the HTML body, then we can have the head. All right, we can have the head, and then we can also have the body. Okay, so this is the tree structure of every HTML file out there. Okay, so we have the head and we have the body. Now on the head, this is where we have every of our metadata to the web page, where you have your title. You can put in your internal styling in here, where you can put in some metadata about your website. Okay, so they all come in here within the head tag. All right, so here I can have my title, and then I can give the title to be DOM practice. Okay, so that is my title right here. Now take for instance, if you go to any page, let me say if you go to www.w3school.com. Okay, all right, so you can see this title right here. All right, so that is coming from the head. All right, that is coming from this title. So if you want to have this kind of title, if you go to a page, the title you see up, on your browser, when you hover on that, that is coming from the title. That's not, that shouldn't go to the body section. So let me close this out. And every other information out there, you can have your style in here. Take for instance, I can have a style in this format, and then I can put in my style in between here. All comes within the head section, right? And you can also have the style within the body section, which I will show you shortly. But if you can also have it on the head, all right? So that can be generally seen in every section of your page. If you want to have it, you don't want to have it within the body, then you can have that on the head. And every of the files you have, external CSS, every style you want to have on your page, you can put it right in there. So this is more about styling or the head section. Majorly I want to talk about the body and then how you can manipulate the DOM. All right, so now within the body, this is where you have every of the content, every of the parts you want to show, you want to have on your screen, on your page. All right, now take for instance, if I go to any website, maybe I go to AWS, and this is AWS console. Right now, every of this section you see right here, right, they all fall within the body of the HTML. all right, so now anything you want to see on the page, and every of this button, every of this card, this this kind of little card, and all of this information, the text and all of that, they need to come in within the body. So the body represents the section that you want to show or display to the user. So that is the user interface. Okay, so every of the parts you want the user to interface with, you want the user to interact with, and you want the user to see, they all need to come in within the body section right in here. Okay, so now let me put in a text, a H1 text within my body, and I will also try to open it up on the browser so we can see that real quick. Before I do that, I think let me just go ahead and take a look at this on my browser and see if we'll see any text yet. All right, so one cool way, if you're using VS Code once again, to write your to create your file, to build your website HTML file, then there's this extension called Live Server that comes with VS Code. You can have that installed, and Live Server gives you the cool feature of you getting to see your updates real time. So if you make any updates on your HTML or on your document file, then you can see the update real quick. You can just come to the extension right here if you're using VS Code and search for Live Server. All right, so this one right here. Okay, let me close this so you can see that clearly. All right, so I have it enabled. If you don't have that enabled, then I'll advise you get that enabled so you can flow along with me and you can see your changes real time once you make that. So quickly, if I try to make some changes in the next couple of minutes, you see that get reflected real time here on the browser. All right, so you can get that extension installed on your page. So, and also, if since I already have the extension installed, you can come and hover on your file and then right click and select this option, open with Live Server. Okay, you can select this section, open with Live Server, or you can go to your terminal. Let me go to my terminal. If you're on Mac, you can do a Command J. I think that will pull up your terminal. Or if you want to locate your terminal, just scroll up to the top of your screen on your VS Code and then locate the terminal option up here. So you can click on that and select new terminal. Okay, but there's a shortcut way of you having that if you're on Mac. All right, so now I'm on my terminal. If you don't want to follow the option of right clicking and open Live Server, if you have Live Server installed, then you can start that using Live Server. Okay, I think live server. Okay, I think I'm not in the right terminal at the moment. All right, so I'll show you that shortly, but let me just go ahead and open it right here with this option. All right, so there's this if you're on Mac, once again you can see there's this is the command snippet, the shortcut way of you opening it. You can hold your command button, command L and command O, so that will open it on live server mode for you. But let me just go ahead and click on that. And okay, so currently it's running on localhost port 5500 index.html. Okay, I think I'm not having this as my default browser, that is why we're not seeing that reflected real time here. But if you can go to this address, localhost 127.0.0:5500, that is where this is currently running on. All right, so if I try to open that up, and this is my page. All right, this is my website. I don't have anything in it because the body currently is empty. Right now, every of those text you see right in here within the head section, you're not going to see that on the body section. Right, we have some title, done practice, and if you see up right here, that is our title showing. Right, you can see that done practice. Right, and this is like the URL of this website. All right, and this is currently running on my local machine. That is why you're having this 127, all of that. Or if you can test that out, you can remove all of these. If you put in a http //localhost, and if you hit on that, and that is same way with where this website is currently running on. Okay, back to the body, and where we'll have a manipulator DOM. Let me put in some text in there. Let me have a h1. All right, another cool thing once again with VS Code extension, if you have if you want to put a h1, which is a heading one, if I just put in a h1 and hit on the enter key, and that will have some kind of autocomplete for me, and I will bring up a heading one. Right, so let me put on DOM manipulation as my text. All right, so once I save this file, and without me doing anything, without me refreshing my browser or doing anything, you can see that updates come up real time now. All right, so once I save the file, then you're done. That is what live server is doing, to automatically update the content on the page. Okay, so I have a h1 this time around. Let me create let me wrap this within a div, and then div with the IntelliSense. I hit on enter, and then I want to have my h1 up there within the div. Okay, so if you have VS Code, once again, the IntelliSense and the autocomplete option, if I want to create a div, and then with the class of container, I can just go ahead and put a period and then write the name of the class. Right, container, and then I hit on the enter or return key. That will create a div with an ID of container for me. All right, and that is one short way of you doing that. If I have pound symbol and text, pound symbol represents an ID that will get me, that will create a div with an ID of what I was putting in. All right, now take for instance, if I want to create a div with an ID of small, I'll just put with the class, I'll just put dot small and hit on the return or enter key. That will create this very div. Okay, so within my div, I want to have a paragraph. Just P and hit on enter, and then I'm gonna put hello YouTube, this is my DOM practice paragraph. Okay, so once I save that, and we see the paragraph coming up on board. All right, and within this div of text, I think I don't need this anymore. I can do away with that. I just want to show you some of those snippets you can have, and autocomplete and intelligence you have with VS Code. So let me have a button right here. So I have a button, and within the button I want to give it an ID. I should have a space there. ID of my iPhone BTN, my button. All right, then so I want to give the button a name of click here. Goes on exclamation mark there, and so this is my button, this is my div, my paragraph, and my h1 on the DOM. Okay, so right now I want to show you how you can manipulate this DOM, how you can access it using JavaScript. All right, I don't know, you can create an external JavaScript file and then just bring it right in here within the script body, but I will want to have that internal here within my page. So for that, I can just go ahead and create a script, right? Just type on script, and within here I can have every of my JavaScript code. Or if I want to have it an external file, maybe I want to create a script file with the name I want to create an external JavaScript file of index.js. all right, so if I have that external file, you can go ahead and import it this way. Just put script and select the src option and give it the name of index.js. all right, so this name right here needs to correspond with the name of the file you have. All right, now if you call yours app.js, then you also need to call app.js in here. If you don't do that, if you make a mistake, or if you have some typos on the naming, then that won't work with your DOM, that won't work with your website. All right, so that is, by the way, let me just comment this out. I want to have my script, every of my script in here. So now, in order for you to manipulate your DOM, I think let me have the comment in here. So for you to get an ID, right, you use the pound symbol. IDs always use pound symbol, and now we have an ID here with the ID. The value for the ID is my BTN. All right, so if you want to access this ID, if you're doing document dot, if you want to use query selector, then you need to put the ID symbol and then the name of the section of the DOM you want to grab, right? The name of the section of the DOM you want to hold on to. So that is that. If it's a class, if you have a class, let me put it down there. If you have a class, then you use the period symbol, all right, to get a class. All right, so you don't mix that up. If you want to grab this class in here, now this class here represents the div, all of this div right in here, the code snippet that falls in between line 11 to 14. If you grab this container, then every of the instruction you gave on the JavaScript body, they all will get affected. All right, if you get this class. Same way with the button, this button, because just this button will get affected. Right now, if you give maybe if you give this container div a background color of yellow, then every of the content within this div right here, they'll all have a background color of yellow, because this is the parent tag. All right, so the parent is usually the HTML tag housing every other let me call it child or sub tags. Okay, now take for instance this div with the class of container in here currently covers the paragraph, which is the P, and then this button. All right, now we can have as many other content in between here, but for now, for this very simple one right here, this is just what we'll have, just the paragraph and the body. So now this is the parent to the class, to the div class container. All right, so now back to DOM manipulation. Just like I said, if you're using a query selector, you can use query selector or get element by ID or class. So if you're using query selector, then you need to put the hash symbol and then my btn, right? Because query selector is kind of a general way of you grabbing a section on your DOM. So you need to tell query selector what you're selecting. Is it what you want to access on the DOM? Is it an ID or is it a class? All right, so that is why you need to put the symbol for what you want to select and then the name. All right, so if you're using query selector, for query selector, you need to use let me put that this way. You need to put the symbol and then you need to also put the name. All right, so that is for query selector. Now you can also use get element by. All right, by you can go for ID or you can do get element by class. Okay, so we have get element by ID. All right, now if you're doing get element by, now you're already specifying what you want to get here. All right, so you're saying you want to get by ID. Now in this scenario, you don't need to put the symbol. All you need to get there is the name. All right, and we also have get element by class, and for that you just need to put in the name of the class. All right, now back right here for this div, if you want to get this section of the DOM with get element by, all right, if you want to you do a get element by class name, then you don't need to put the period symbol right here. Okay, all you need to do is just put the name of the class. Okay, and that will get it for you. That will grab the section of the DOM for you. Okay, and same way here, this is an ID. So if you try to do a get element by class for this ID, for this my btn ID, then that won't work because this is not a class, this is an ID. So what that means is if it's an ID and you try to do get element by class or class name, then that won't work because it will try to check for a class with my btn and that is not available right on your DOM, on your page. So you won't get any response or you won't get any action or any reaction for that. So you need to be very careful in going with that. Okay, now same way with the query selector. If you put a pound symbol and then instead of my btn you pass in another name. Now if you try to get this container, all right, this is a class. If you try to use pound symbol, then that won't work. Same way with the way we have with class. So you cannot get an ID, all right, for a class, and same way you cannot get a class name for an ID. Okay, so that is it. That is as simple as that. Okay, now I just want to quickly show some interactivity on the DOM based on what we have in here. Okay, so all I want to do is first thing, this is JavaScript code. All right, so every of the code I want to write in here within my script tag. All right, so every code I want to write in between this tag I selected right now, these are all some JavaScript codes. All right, so I can declare some variable, write some calculations, some math function, and all of that. You can do that in here. You can write some programs in here. So first thing, I want to grab my div, and then I also want to grab my ID. Okay, so I think we want to have my button outside of the div because I want to click on this button, right? And what I want to do is okay, I can still take that back in. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to get this button. When I click on the button, all right, I want this name to change from DOM manipulation to DOM practice. All right, that is what I want to do. All right, that is basically it. So for that, all I need to do is first get the button and then get the h1. All right, so now for the h1 I can give it an id. Let me give it a class of my text. Okay, so now these are the two sections of the DOM I want to grab and manipulate and interact with. Okay, so that is one cool thing of DOM manipulation. There are so many other things you can do with that. So for that, I will say const. I use const or let over my button is document.query selector. Let me reduce this out a little so we can have everything there on the line. Okay, so this is my button is document.query selector, then the name of the button ID. Okay, and I can call that my text is document.query selector once again, a period, and then the name of the ID. Since this is a class, I'm using a period right in here. Okay, now I have the button this time around. So if I put my btn add event listener, let me remove all of this IntelliSense text right in here and just alert hello world. All right, now I'm trying to listen to an event this time around on this btn, on this section of the DOM I just selected. Right now I'm trying to listen to a click event. All right, now once a user click on this, all right, on the DOM, once this has been clicked upon, I just want to alert this message of hello world. Right, so I think I've saved my file. Now if I come in here, if I click on that, and you see this hello world text pop up, this hello world alert pop up. All right, so now that's not really what I want to do. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to change, on click of the button, I want to change this text from DOM manipulation to DOM practice. Okay, and for that I can go ahead and remove that. I need to say my btn dot inner html equal DOM practice. Okay, so that is it, as simple as that. All right, so if I save this file, now currently we have DOM manipulation here. Okay, now if I click on this, oh sorry, I was changing the text on my btn, which is not what we want to do. All right, I want to change the text, and if you can see this, change the text from click here to DOM practice, and that is not where I want to have it. Right, we want to have that on the h1 where we are referencing as my text. All right, so let me copy this and change that, all right, to inner html. And when I save the file once again, and if I click, you see this changed to DOM practice. All right, so you can see that is very cool. Okay, and that is also very easy to work with. So that is how you can do DOM manipulation. All right, and for now I also want to do some more feature on what you can do with DOM manipulation, how you can not just change some text, all right, how you can create some elements, how you can create some tags, how you can add in some, you can with DOM you can add a paragraph, you can add so many things, right? So now what I want to do here is to create I want to create a list item, and then within the list item I want to put in some list, all right, some item list within the list item. So I want to have that in here. Let me create a div with dot my list. Okay, so I have a div here with the ID my list. Okay, so now what I want to do next is I want to change this to DOM practice, and also on the click of the button I want to have a list item created within this div my list right here. And this is what I'm talking about. We can have a list of some item of 1, 2, and 3, right? But I want this to happen once on this button click. So for that, let me cut this out, okay, or let me comment it, I think, for referencing. So let me just comment this out, save my page, and that part of the DOM is gone. Okay, so since we want to put that within this my list div right here, for that let's grab this section of the DOM. All right, now the flow is this. Any part of the DOM you want to manipulate, or you want to interact with, or you want to perform some operation upon, one of the easiest thing to do is to first grab the section of the DOM, all right, grab it as a variable, and then you can put in, or you can do your manipulation from there. All right, so for that, let me get that. I'll call it const my lists, and I want to do a document.query selector of my list. Okay, so I have it as my iPhone list as the ID. So now I want to change the text, and then I can do my list dot inner HTML. Once again, I'll show you some more way of doing that. Equal. All right, now one of the manual way, let me say that, of doing that, which will also give you the same result. You know, for some beginners, they will want to, you know, have this created, all right, and like have that flow in there at first, and you can just go ahead and just copy this, all right, and within this, you know, this symbol, this backtick symbol right here, you can have the symbol by holding your shift key and clicking on the escape key. All right, that will give you this symbol right here. No, I'm not escape, I mean the symbol by the left corner of 1 on your keyboard. All right, so that will give you this symbol. All right, so now within this symbol right in here, you can have this can allow you have some multi-line string. All right, so now within this backtick symbol right here, you can just paste all of that. All right, now this is just like, you know, the manual way you have it on the HTML directly. All right, so now once I save this, all right, that will give you the same result what we have, but this time around we have seen our list item on button click. All right, so now currently we don't have that. Now once I click on the button, we see our list item popping up immediately. Okay, so this is one naive way of you getting this. All right, another way you can actually do that, which might be a little bit kind of the best way for me, is to use the syntax. All right, you can first of all create the element, which this time around is a list item, and then from there you can append all of this. Okay, so for that, let me comment this out once again, and let's do, oh, okay, let me leave that. I think for the next one, I will create an ordered list. So this is unordered, this list is not ordered, and that's why we have in the period and all of that. So if we have this to be a if we have this to be an OL, and if I save that, once I click now, we see our list item with, you know, this kind of numbered bullet point. So let me leave this back as on ordered list, and I still want to create the exact thing we have right in here, but this time around I don't want to to do it the manual way, the way we have it on the DOM, but rather we'll kind of do some kind of other DOM manipulation simple by creating the element and all of that. So we can have a const, let's call it ordered list, right? Call to document or create element OL. All right, so now what we're doing is this time around I'm first creating the ordered list. All right, so it's just like, you know, this is what I did with that line of command. I just kind of create just this empty symbol, right? That is what I did there. All right, so let me return this back. Now after creating that, then we can create the list item, which is the li. All right, and we can have a const list item equal document create element li. Now this is kind of very you know, human readable and easy for you to follow and do and implement. All right, so just work along with the if you remember your tags. All right, so for other lists we have ol, ul. If you want to create a paragraph, you can do sorry about that. So if you want to have it a paragraph, you can have this as P, right? If you want to have a H1, you can have a H1. If you want to have a div, you can have a div. All right, and that is how you can do all of this. Okay, so it's very easy for you to follow and implement. Okay, now we have li, and the next thing we want to do is to add some list item. All right, so for that I just want to add in some list of countries, and I can then go ahead. Now this is where we can do the inner text. Okay, inner text means the text want to have, just like in here, this is the inner text, this li. All right, so for me the inner text, I want it to be some list of countries. So I want to have USA in there, and here we have it. All right, now we have this text on line 47. All right, let me scroll up a little. We have this inner text on line 47, just like what we have in here. Now the next thing we need to do is to append this li, right, to the ul. All right, so now currently we have this USA, you know, added to our list item. Then the next line of action is to have the li, which is which is what we have in here, added to the ul, or I mean the ol in this scenario. All right, so we can just do append child ordered list, which is this ol right in here. We want to append this child. All right, we want to append this child ol. Okay, now after getting that, then the next thing we need to do, we at this point we have our list item, you know, added to the parent, which is the ol. Then the next thing we need to do is to append the ol now to the parent, which is the inner which is the my list. Okay, so we still need to do an append child once again. So I will say my list dot append child ordered list, and that is all. Right, that is all we need to do. Okay, now let me save this and click on the button once again, and this is the manual list item we added, and this is the one we added also using create element on the DOM. Okay, so this is how you can interact and manipulate your DOM, how you can put in some items, how you can, you know, have so many things, have some kind of interaction on your DOM. Right now I just want to create an array of countries, right, and, you know, just put them, you know, on the ordered list. All right, so let me create that country list here. Have it const country, I have all of that, and I have Nigeria, I have USA, I have yeah, so I think this is okay. So just some list of countries in here. Right now we can, that is one of the beauty of you know, scripting DOM manipulation. So from this array, we can have so many of these 1,000, 1 million name, right? So just a few lines of code, this can create. You don't need to manually put in 100 list on, just like where you can do that on the HTML. You don't need to manually do that. So you can look through, right, and just add all of these to your page. Okay, so now I want to create a loop, right? I will look through this array list and then add that to my ordered list right in here. So for that, what I will do is this. Let me cut that out, and I can have a for okay, yeah, let me explain this now real quick. Okay, so now all we're doing right in here is just like if I'm to comment this out, and okay, I cannot do direct commenting here. So now what we're doing is we just kind of manually putting the country this way, just repeating ourselves several times. All right, so and that is also, you wouldn't want to do that because you can have 1,000 or more lines of items in there. So now you can just go ahead and and loop through the available list item. Let me collapse this, create more space. All right, so now we can just go ahead and what we're doing right here is just looping through the country and getting each country, right? And then we're creating within the loop, creating the list item, right? Once you have that created, then you can add this country directly as your inner HTML, all right, as your inner text. And you can do that this way. If I remove this, you can just directly go ahead and let me make this much more shorter. So okay, so another cool if you want to use the enhanced for loop to do that, and you can just go ahead and so you don't have to know the length and all of that. You can do for let I of country list, let me call it country, let country of country list. All right, and here we can go ahead and create the country. All right, now we can go ahead and create the country first, and then after creating the country, then we can put the list item, and then after having the list item created, then next you can go ahead and put the country as the inner text. All right, and once you have the country as the inner text, then next thing is append that to your div, and after that is appended, then that is all you need to do. All right, we don't need this anymore here. All right, so it's as easy as that. All right, so you can have some loops, you can have some some objects. You maybe want to do structure and get some element and put that on your DOM. You can also do that. So this is one way you can manipulate your DOM using JavaScript. So in summary, I was able to show you how you can get a section of your DOM using get by ID, or get element by ID or get element by class name. You can do that, or you can use query selector, where you need to first of all put the name, the symbol, and then the name of the section you want to get. All right, now you always need the name so the DOM can know which section you really want to make reference to. All right, so that is why you need to put the name now, because we have so many items here on the DOM, we have so many tags. So now the name will kind of direct DOM on, oh, this is the section of the DOM you're interested in getting, and that is why you need to put the name. This is very important, right? And then once you get that, then you can kind of add some elements using the some kind of the manual way. You will want to do that if you have it directly on the DOM, all right? Or you can do the way I call it, dynamic way of, you creating the element using the document to create elements. You can create any kind of tag, paragraph, div, h1, ol, li, and all of that. And I was also able to show you how you can have some list and then run your JavaScript function or loop that will iterate through the list and then append that to your DOM. Okay, so that is it in summary, and thank you very much for sticking around and waiting and watching this video. And if you like the video, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're yet to do so. And if you have any comments or anything you want to say, you can please drop that on the comment section below. And thank you very much once again. I will see you in the next tutorial. And if you have any parts you want me to talk on, you want me to share a video upon, and you can also drop that on the comment section as well. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next tutorial series.